Nerdcast assemble!
Stay dandy, baby.
Tonoyasu might come across as a really goofy character, but he's about to send a shockwave throughout the entire Wano Kingdom, and it's going to be the powder keg that sets off the rest of the Wano Kingdom arc. Hello, my friends, and welcome to my review of the latest episode of One Piece, and this one was certainly interesting. Picking up from the end of the last episode, Tonoyasu is acting as the mysterious thief going about the flower capital of Wano Kingdom until he is captured by Orochi's goons and is promptly beaten the living crap out of. This is a hard scene to watch. It was hard to read in the manga. It's even more disturbing here. As a character with such a big smile, a character with such a big heart, a character who is so selfless is just beaten within an inch of his life, and he still manages to smile. Of course, there's a bigger reason behind all of that, and we'll get to that in a couple more episodes. The point is, this is a pretty big episode because Tonoyasu has officially been captured, and much to the shock of Orochi, he is going to make example of him. Basically, it is implied in this episode that Orochi and Tonoyasu have something of a connected past with one another, and when he learns that he's actually the thief, he is incredibly shocked, to the point where originally he was super angry over the death of Komurasaki, where he transformed into his massive dragon Hydra form, and he was super pissed at this moment. Like, he was ready to kill just about anyone. But the minute that he learned who Tonoyasu actually was, he immediately reverted back to his original form and realized that this man needs to be killed now. And basically, they're going to do it in front of everyone, also on the day of the funeral of Komurasaki. So basically, Wano is about to go through like a really big moment. But there's tons of other things that are going on in this episode, lots of little things, so let's go ahead and break those down as well. So Luffy and Hirogoro, they're still in the prison camp, and now they're stuffed. It's a really funny image. They basically spent all night eating that red bean soup, and they have just bloated themselves to absolute ridiculous proportions. And Luffy, of course, wants to continue the fight. He wants to learn how to use this brand new form of Haki, the Ryu-O. But basically, Queen's not going to let this happen because he learns about the death of Komurasaki, and like most everybody else in the kingdom, he takes it pretty harshly. Everybody really loved Komurasaki, so basically that's not going to be happening anymore. We also go back to another random scene where we get the return of the character of Hold'em, another member of the Beast Pirates, the guy with the lion inside of his gut. And basically, he's battling against Ashura Doji and all of his men, and basically just burning the entire place down. They're basically trying to take these guys out. And if it's not apparent already, Ashura Doji is a pretty important character, especially when he's, connected to the other higher-ranking members of the Nine Red Scabbards, those who are like the strongest swordsmen in all of Wano. We already saw a silhouette of him before. We've seen him in the series already, and here he proves again that he's a pretty competent warrior in his very own right. And his battle against Hold'em in this episode I thought looked really cool. I especially love the way that Hold'em actually fights with like his weird sort of like spear whip-like weapon. It's like a sword that can like transform, and then of course there's all the fire and everything. It's a really nice scene right here. And we even get the return of one of my favorite characters, which is Carrot, and that's mostly just because I think she's adorable as crap. And just getting to see her return just a little bit in this episode was great. Of course, she feels really bad as she feels maybe she's kind of responsible for everything that's actually going on here with Ashura and all of his men having to deal with these guys, not to mention the entire place basically getting burned down in this moment. It's pretty freaking shocking. But again, going back to Tonoyasu, the big thing about this episode is that everybody's starting to learn that he's about to be executed. And this news actually ends up going out to Ringo, where we see that Brook actually finally meets Zoro again. And when he finds him, it's hilarious, because, he's asleep, Komurasaki's on top of him, and so is Toko. So Brook just assumes that basically Zoro just had some sort of weird, freaky, disturbing orgy, and he decides that he's just going to leave. Of course, that's not the case at all, but it's definitely a really funny joke, I have to say. Even Komurasaki's like, yeah, I make men blush all the time. It's just kind of my thing. It's what I do. Did you like it? And Zoro, of course, is always a cold fish, as always. Brook interacting with these characters is funny, too, because, again, it's always great to see characters see Brook for the first time, because he's a giant skeleton with an afro, and he's creepy as crap. And Toko being scared and laughing at him is a contradicting kind of thing. But, again, there's a lot to the people in Ebisu Village, and including Tonoyasu as well, the fact that they have these smiles and everything. Like, there's a reason for all of this, and it all will be explained pretty soon. And it is kind of disturbing, I actually have to say, when we get to that. But basically, they learn that Tonoyasu is indeed about to be executed, and Toko does not take this well. Of course, Tonoyasu being her father, she is incredibly freaked out and desperately starts to run out to try and find him and help him. Of course, Zoro and Komurasaki and Brook have to stop her, but it's so devastating seeing her like this. And what's more disturbing and heartbreaking about all of this is that she's still laughing during all of it, and yet you can even tell just through the emotion in her eyes how incredibly upset that she truly is. And it was a scene that in the manga version I don't think could have worked as well as it did in the anime, if only for the voice acting, the music. It just really upped the drama here, and it was a real gut punch kind of scene, I honestly have to say. And sort of like one of the big highlights of the episode, as it all ends with Tonoyasu getting ready to know that it is going to be a big day in Wano Kingdom. It looks like he's prepared for something crazy, so let's stay tuned for that. So, what's the rundown on this episode of the One Piece anime series? This was a slow burn kind of episode, and again, I'm appreciating it a lot more in the anime version than I was in the manga, if only for the fact that I think they're just doing it justice, and they're doing a real proper job of actually building up in the best way possible. I already said it in like my last review that the anime version has made me care about Tonoyasu just a lot more. And maybe that's just because in the manga version, you know, you consume it so quickly and you're just kind of done. The anime version definitely takes its time with this stuff a lot more, and Tonoyasu is a character that I think they're doing like 10 times better in the anime version. And again, I think that's just simply owed to animation and voice acting and atmosphere. I think it just bleeds through this entire arc. And if you wanted to learn a lot more about his character, well, you're definitely going to get it in the next episode of the series. The preview even shows that we're finally going to delve into his backstory just a little bit more. And it's an interesting one. And like I said, it's going to be kind of like a big moment for the Wano Kingdom arc. It's going to sort of like change everything as we're moving forward. And it's going to bring forward another story element of the series, which I'm very anxious to see in anime form. So, I liked this episode. It was a real emotional one, to say the least, and it feels so desperate, too. It's weird. There are these moments where One Piece can be so lighthearted and fun, and then the next minute, it can just immediately dive into some extreme dark territory, and basically, that's where we're headed, so strap in. It's only going to get crazier from here. Production value-wise, another pretty good-looking episode of the series. I can't praise the Wano Kingdom enough for having a different art style and for doing things in a slightly different fashion while still carrying sort of the overall look of One Piece in general. Like, there didn't need to be as much effort put into Hold'em's battle with Ashura Doji, but it looked really awesome. Like, the entire time. It's amazing how they'll take smaller fight scenes, which in previous arcs would have been done with barely any animation at all or even much care. Here, it seems like every single time there's an action scene, they really try to pour a lot more into it. So I cannot thank them enough for working really hard on that. Toei Animation, you guys are doing a much better job this time. Overall, I thought this was a great episode. A little slow in some parts, but then again, that's kind of the regular thing for One Piece. But I'm going to give this episode a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I'd love to get your thoughts on it, and you can sound off in the comment section below telling me what you thought about the latest episode of One Piece, the big capture of Tonoyasu, and everyone dealing with the fact that he's about to be executed. What do you hope to see from the future of the Wano Kingdom arc? Sound off in the comment section below. So thank you guys so much for watching this review. Please subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this one. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps them out a lot. I also want to thank all of my patrons. You guys are awesome. Not only are you supporting my channel by simply watching my videos, but you're making monthly donations, which I cannot thank you for enough. Remember, first time Patreon donators, I will review an anime series of your choice. Not to mention, I would love to add your name to this list of super amazing people. So thank you guys so much for watching this review. I'll see you all next time. And as always, stay down there, baby.